Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world's most famous podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacqueline Maddison. Today, we delve into the transformative journey of Chaz Dean, the visionary behind WEN Hair Body Care. From his early days as a photographer to becoming a celebrated hairstylist and entrepreneur, Chaz has revolutionized the beauty industry with his holistic, lather-free approach to hair care. His commitment to natural ingredients and cruelty-free products has garnered a devoted clientele, including numerous celebrities. Join us as we explore Chaz's inspiring path, his innovative philosophies, and how he's reshaping beauty standards one strand at a time. Let's welcome Chaz to the show.
Hello.
Hi, Chaz. How are you?
Good. Sorry about the delay.
No worries. Everything is always in divine right timing. So you're never late. You're always right on time.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm so glad to have you on. It's such an honor. I'm really excited to delve into your journey. Why don't we get started with you telling us about your initial experience from transitioning from photography to cosmetology? So obviously you had an eye for beauty. Do tell.
It started in high school. I took photography courses all through high school, and I loved it. When you get those, I think they're aptitude tests of what you want to do when you grow up. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't fit into any of those things. I didn't want to sit behind a desk. It's like none of it suited me. It didn't feel right to me. So a week after we graduated high school, my family moved from California to Arizona. And so I went and took a commercial course in photography. I was 18 still at the time, and I just felt like I needed more experience under my belt. So I wanted to learn how to do hair and makeup to incorporate it with my photography because I wanted the whole picture. I didn't want to just shoot the pictures. I wanted the vision that was in my head to be able to create it, shoot it, the whole picture. And that's where it really all started for me. So I always knew I'm going to school, I'm going to graduate, I'm moving back to California because I loved California. Arizona, for me, just not for me. It's too hot. So I always knew all through school that I was going to graduate school, cosmetology school, come back to California. All through school, my vision was that I was going to graduate and come work at Fidel Sassoon because they were like the salon.
I see.
So everyone knew, oh, he's going to graduate. He's going to move back to California. He's going to go work for Fidel Sassoon. And all through school, I would take my before and after shots and pictures and have my portfolio. So I felt confident with that. Like I'm showing you, here's how they started. Here's what I did with them. And I felt confident within my work. And when I interviewed at Sassoon, it felt like it was going really great. And at the end of the interview, they asked me, so do you want to be a colorist or a cutter? And I'm like, I want to do both because it's everything. It's not, I don't compartmentalize. So that was a hard decision. And I said, you have to pick one or the other there. And I said, wow, I have to think about that.
Wow.
I can't imagine doing one or the other for my career. So I'm like, I have to think about that and I'll get back to you. And I just knew that wasn't the place for me because of that, which is crazy saying you're kind of turning down Fidel Sassoon.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine either only coloring hair, only cutting hair. It was the whole picture for me. So I ended up not starting there.
Yeah.
And I worked at a place called Carlton where you could do everything. And it was creative and it was an outlet. It was great. It was an amazing experience. So but yeah, I could do everything. And that's exactly what I wanted. And my photography.
Yeah, I think to have your creativity stifled in any way is just never going to work.
No.
So
if it does for short term, maybe, but not really. No.
Maybe just to learn or train or whatever. But
yeah, if it's for growth, yes. But if it's for your career path, I'm like, oh my gosh, no.
No, definitely not. So when did you foray kind of into entrepreneurship and you made the choice to start your own thing? Because that's a big step.
Huge. It started when the company I worked for, they had their own product line, but they did not have their own deep conditioner. So it didn't make sense. You have your own product line, but you order high pro packs from the beauty supply for your clients. That doesn't even make sense. So why? So they said, if you want, we'll set you up with a lab if you want to help us create one. Imagine I'm a 19-year-old kid, and just because I asked that question, that door opened up, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I would love to do that because I cook and I draw and all the art stuff, and I'm creative, and I thought that would be a great opportunity. So I did, and I created a reconstructor conditioner for them. And then about 6-8 months later, they said, we're thinking of doing a more natural product line. Would you be interested? And I said, sure, but what would I get out of it? Because now I already did it once, and it was just like, barely a thank you. But I got the experience, and I'm not taking away from any of that, but something more than just thank you. Asked me to do a more natural product line. I said, sure, what will I get out of it? And they're like, well, just show us, prove you can do it first, and we'll talk about that later. And the 19-year-old brain, I'm like, I kind of already did that. Didn't I do it? And isn't that why you're asking me to do more? But I like doing it, and I didn't want to close that door. I could have easily said no because I did it. And I'm glad I didn't because it gave me the option to now create even more, even on a deeper level. And I created a shampoo for them, 2 conditioners for them. The line launched, and it's worldwide. It's the fashion formulas, the sexy concept. It's that line. I created wow. for them. So that's what got my foot in the door. I didn't know I could do that till I had that opportunity. So that's where it started.
It seems like God created you to do this because your beauty inclination started so young, and then this opportunity opened to you so young. You were just destined for this.
Yeah, again, when you say you're 19 and someone entrusts you to help create a product, it's amazing. It's funny you say that because when I was 18, I worked at my way through beauty school. I worked at a 1-hour photo lab, and because for photography, and they were hiring a manager, and I applied to be a manager. Yes, I was only 18, but I felt like I could do it, and they didn't hire me for that. They took, I'm being honest, a 50-year-old man from the outside that had nothing to do with it, knew nothing about it. And I, as an 18-year-old, had to train him how to do his job. And it molded me that I give people chances because of the chance I didn't get with that. So, again, when I was 19 and they gave me that opportunity to create a product for them, like, 100%, yes, I'll take that chance. So, I give people the chances that I might not have had along the way that people thought, oh, you're too young for that, you can't. There's really no such thing. I mean, look at artists, musicians that are, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Look at Michael Jackson where he started. If someone said, oh, you're too young, you're a kid, you got to wait till you're 20-something.
It's true. We learned so many lessons in our life journey. And that reminds me of the quote that's, the best thing you can be given is an opportunity, and what you do with it is your reward, So we learn, we grow, and then we take that with us into our next door of opportunity that opens.
Well, and I love you said that because it's the other part as well, is because of the opportunity that I was awarded that I didn't get the recognition on it. And then the second time I didn't even finish, the second time when I did do the 3 products, and at the end of it, after they received them and it was on the market, it's like, hey, what am I going to get from this? And it's like, then I met with them after. Again, I wouldn't change it because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it was different. It'd be nice if they did. It'd be nice if they did respect and honor it, but, they didn't. But the element is they offered me a penny per bottle for every bottle manufacturer. I'm like, okay, 100 bottles equals $1. This is nothing. And in all honesty, I never even saw that because it was so menial that I'm like, I got to focus on my career. I can't focus on 100 bottles being $1. I never even saw that. Having said that, what you said as well is there's many people that things happen to them like that, or they've had a bad experience or bad childhood, and they live within that, and they define themselves as that instead of coming out of that. Like that happened to me, and I'm going the opposite direction now. And I try to teach people that because there are people that, oh, I was burned here, so I'll never do that again. I'm like, that's not what the message really should be.
Mm-hmm.
You learned, you grew from that. Now what can you do with the knowledge you have? So
it's true.
It's what I try to do and what I try to educate as well.
That's great. Well, there is a right and wrong attitude towards life and the things that happen to us. And you seem to have the right attitude, because we must take the lessons learned and the character building from all our experiences, good, bad, or ugly. And that helps and fuels our growth, in financially, spiritually, emotionally, all of it. It's all part of our life journey. And
or it can cripple you and remain stagnant, and you don't grow. And that's sad. People, you see, and it's really sad when you see that. It's because this happened to me. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, no, grow from that. Just don't let that happen again. But let that be a learning lesson, and be aware of that in the future. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that do hold on to that and don't grow from that because of what happened. So, my message is I try to get people to let everything, whether it feels like a good or bad experience, let that be a stepping stone to grow. And
it's so true. So for me, I'm a Christian, and Jesus always taught about the importance of forgiveness, and I think that kind of plays into all of our life experiences. I've been burned. I think we all have, but I think to not let it hold us back from what our future holds for us, forgiveness is really the key. Letting it go and moving forward.
100%. You're holding yourself back if you don't forgive, because you're holding on to that experience.
It's true.
In all honesty, the person usually who did it to you isn't even thinking about it, and that's true. They're not even, it's not even in their mind, because to them it could be very natural. It's something that is normal for them, so they're not holding a thought of it. You are, and it's holding you back. So try. And I know some experiences are much worse than others, but whichever it is, whatever it takes to work through that, to come out the other side, you grow from it. You really grow from it.
So what inspired and the creation of WEN Hair and Body Care? And that's your own signature line. Tell us about that.
It was when the same company that didn't even, I was a manager for their salon, and they didn't pay you even as a manager fee. You were just like a stylist like everyone else. And I would always ask them, just pay me minimum wage. And back in those 90s, it was like $4 something an hour. Just pay me $4.50 an hour, $4.20, whatever it is, just to show me it means something to you, that it has value to you. And they wouldn't do that. So having said that, I ended up resigning from management because I realized I can't build my clientele and focus on managing 25 plus people and continue to grow because it's holding me down and I'm not being compensated for it. So I'm like, I want to focus on myself, my clientele, and my growth. So I resigned from management and I moved up to what was the Bel Air salon. And when I went to the Bel Air salon, it's an amazing location in the wealthiest neighborhood in California. And I realized that it was a busy salon. It was hustling and bustling. But as it was all ex-managers, it seemed like when you resigned from management, you went up to that one because it was the salon to go to. So as they left and many went on to other things or went and opened their own salons, the salons started declining. And the managers would ask, what's going on here? I said, you're in a neighborhood with multi-million-dollar homes that these women are not going to go into a chain, what they see as a chain salon. They have too much pride. They're not going to say, I go to Carlton, because to that, it's a discount salon and whatnot. So I told them, change the name to anything but Carlton, and you would have a successful salon, because the stylists that are here are talented, but you're not getting people in the door because the name over the door. It works everywhere else, just not in Bel Air. So they never listened to that. And one day I heard voices that they were going to sell it, and they offered it to me. And my first reaction was, I'm sorry, but hell no, because they screwed me over so many times that I'm like, here we go again. You're going to stab me in the back again. But then I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. The only reason this salon isn't working is because their ego is in the way and they won't allow themselves to change the name above the door. So I realized I can do this, because the only reason it doesn't work is that name is holding them back. So I did do it. And the day I did it is also the day I gave up Lather, because I had to sell it because I worked for them. You had to sell shampoo and conditioner and all that. But I knew that my client's color was going down the drain. I knew I used to have to shampoo and condition my hair twice a day because I would be so oily because I'd rob my scalp, and your body works overtime, just like your skin. So I knew that the shampoo was the harmful, what I didn't want in my routine. So the day that I opened the salon and said yes is the day I gave up lather. And that's when I'm like, I started my journey on like, you don't need lather. You don't need stripping chemicals. You don't need your color going down the drain. You don't need to strip your hair to clean your hair. You just need to clean it in a gentle way. So that's where it all started.
I love it. So tell us about your lather-free philosophy and how that's evolved in terms of your operations now and products today.
All right. It started May 1st, 1993, which seems so long ago. I was a puppy.
I love how you remember the date.
When I started, I know, do the math. So it was May 1st, 1993. I opened the salon and I said goodbye to lather. And the funny part is I would order, because remember, I made them the primrose shampoo, sage conditioner, rosemary conditioner. So I never wanted the shampoo because I'm like, I made it because they asked me to, but I wasn't believing in it anymore because I knew what it did. So I ordered the rosemary conditioner and the sage conditioner from them. Rosemary was moisturizing, sage was more astringent, so I would mix them, and that's what I started doing. And as clients would come in, I would tell them, you're never going to lather again, you don't need lather. And I would ask them, what's the reason you use shampoo? And I'm like, they would say, to clean my hair. I'm like, exactly. So if you can clean your hair but not strip your hair, if you can clean your hair but not strip your color, would you not do that? And like, of course I would. So that's how it started. And it actually, ironically, started with the two products I created for them. And then I went to a lab and I'm like, okay, here's my starting ground. Now I want to blow this out of the water. Because if I created that for them X amount of years ago, imagine what I can do knowing this is for myself now. And that's what I did.
That's amazing. I always say there's no accidents in God's plan. It seems like everything was actually leading up to this opportunity for you to kind of become and blossom into your full potential independently.
Well,
you know?
Crazy. They did think he's like, they would have put him in a cage and they're like, what do you, because everybody in the world uses shampoo. And I'm like, but why? What's the reason you're using it? To clean my hair. I'm like, exactly. But you're not just cleaning it, you're stripping it. So if you could clean without stripping it and squeaky and color down the drain, why would you not opt for that? And they understood it. I'm like, I promise it works as long as you trust me. And then they'd come back 4 weeks later, 6 weeks later, years later, and like, oh my gosh, look at my hair. And they would be proud. I haven't used lather in 6 months, 9 months, a year, or 2 years, 3 years. And it was a snowball effect. And it was 100% a word of mouth thing. At the beginning, it was harder because I said, so-and-so referred you. So you came to me because their hair is beautiful, right? And they say, yes. I said, so as long as you trust me, I promise it works. So it just took time to build all of that up because, again, you're not coming to me because her hair looked terrible. You're coming because it will look beautiful, and you want that. You want that hair. So it was a trust thing, and it was like a snowball rolling down a hill and building up and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as it went on.
Yeah, well, as they say, the overnight success takes 10 years or something, right? Or longer. Yeah. But it's
There's
worth
no
it.
overnight success. No, the overnight successes are usually a flash in the pan, and they're not lasting.
That's a good point. Yeah, they don't really exist. So tell me, what are core values that drive your current business decisions and operations, considering all the lessons you've learned, some the hard way along your journey?
Number one is, well, there's a lot, but number one is I never cut corners. Even when I was creating for them, they were like, they want it now. I'm like, if my name's on it, even though it's not my product, my name's on it, I'm part of it. When it's ready and I feel confident and content with it, then I'll deliver it. So with mine, 100%, I don't cut corners. I don't skip on ingredients. I don't even, the funny part is, and people are like, you don't? I'm like, no, if I put an end cap on here's what I want it to cost, I wouldn't have landed where I landed. You know what I mean? If I say I need a product that needs to be in this realm, I couldn't have achieved what I wanted to. So mine is, add this, subtract this, add some more of this, a little more of that. Let's try this. How much is it going to cost me is usually the last question.
Right.
And if I did it the opposite, and most people do the opposite. They put, here's what it is. Let's make it happen within that budget. And I'm like, you can't do it properly that way.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part I'm insanely proud of, I've been vegan now for 10 and a half years, but I launched my product 25 years ago, and I've always launched it no animal byproducts, no animal tests, and cruelty-free, recognized by the Leaping Bunny. And it was before I was even vegan, but I was always compassionate about animals. So
Yeah.
I know now it's a buzzword, and it's changed in the last 5, 6 years, whatnot. But I've launched that way because it's important to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Congratulations on, well, one, being a vegan for so long, but that's a healthy choice. But then also the product line, and it's just, that's awesome. I love it. I'm a vegan myself, but once in a while I have a little fish just because I feel like I need a little protein. But
Okay,
otherwise, I'm definitely
it's funny you
vegan.
said that. It's funny you said that. For my first, it's harder to explain when I say it, but September of 2014 is when I became pescatarian. So for
Mm,
the first 5 years, it was pescatarian, but everything else vegan, no dairy, nothing else.
right.
And now for 5.5 years, strictly vegan. But when I say and I explain it, they get confused. So it's easier to say I've been vegan basically because I haven't even in meat, chicken, turkey,
Yeah,
any of that in 10.5 years, almost
yeah,
11 now.
yeah.
But yeah, the first five I was pescatarian. However, I felt like I was afraid of getting mercury poisoning, and I also felt like I'm eating probably more plastic than fish. So I stopped doing that. And when people say, well, where do you get your protein? My element is gorillas, horses, elephants, giraffes, the largest animals on the planet don't eat meat. Cows. You eat cows to get your protein. They don't eat meat. Which is weird when they say, I'm like, you're eating something to get protein that doesn't eat protein.
Wow, that's
Doesn't
such a
eat
good
meat.
point. I've never heard that before, but that is brilliant.
Yeah, when they
It's
say they
true.
have to eat beef because of their protein, I'm like, cows don't eat meat. They eat grains, they eat grass. And
Right.
that's where I do with the beans. And I send it to people now. We have a chef in the PA house when we go for QVC, and she's 77. She's an incredible Japanese woman. But there was a team of 20 plus of us go, and she was always so concerned. I got to make sure they get their protein, get their protein. And now I literally send her decks of, here's your protein. You can get more protein in A, B, C, and D than you do some meats and so forth. She's like, and she gets it now, and it's so changed, but she used to be like, they need their protein, they need their protein. I'm like, giraffes, animals, all animals with straight across teeth, like
Right.
people, don't eat meat.
They eat
The only
grass.
ones that
Right.
do, the ones that do, like again, cat families and wolf family and so forth with the fangs.
Mm.
But when a lion eats meat, how lethargic they are until that processes through their body
Right.
is insane. So
Yeah.
when you explain it that way, people are like, I never thought of it that way. I mean, pandas, I mean, most of the animals in the wilderness
Yeah.
are not meat eaters, most of them.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I just had really low iron levels, like deathly low. Like I'm pale because I'm Irish, but even my doctor was like, no, you look deathly pale, and then my iron levels were just very low.
But
So
check your
that freaked
veggies
me
as
out.
well. There's so much, especially the dark leafy greens and so forth. And I eat because I have my garden as well. I have a garden that I'm really proud of. In the last couple of years, I realized when you grow broccoli and cauliflower and sprouts and all that, it seems such a waste that you get that flower and everything else went to waste. So I searched, can you eat the leaves of broccoli and cauliflower and sprouts and all that? And you 100% can. And those dark green leafy veg, and they're so good. I use them like as tortillas sometimes. They're amazing.
That's
So,
beautiful. I know,
yeah.
I love vegan eating, and this was years ago. So I've definitely educated myself, and I've got my diet to a place where it works for me, and it's healthy, and it, of course, includes all the dark greens. Any vegan knows that. Any true vegan knows how to, nourish themselves. With I say all of God's creation, like He created all the things to nourish us. Food is our medicine. Vegan is the best way for us to eat, I think. I say
Well,
go back to the
it's
Garden of
clean.
Eden,
Yeah, exactly. It's the cleanest, and not everyone's there. Again, if you told me 20 years, I tried it years ago, and then I went back to eating. Like again, probably 20 years ago, I tried it, and I did it for maybe a year or so. And the weirdest part is I did start get a lot more headaches, and that's when they tell me, oh, you need da da da. I was just missing the right sources
Right.
of the beans, the mushrooms, or this,
Yep.
the
Oh,
lentils, and
yeah.
all those things, and I get that, and now I'm like, yeah. So again, it's when it's right for you as well as part of it is.
It's true. I want to move away from fish because I don't like the idea of having a dead fish in my body. So I'm with you, but I'm getting there.
I know, and I used to I was obsessed with fish, seafood and fish. And again, same thing until I realized because I used to eat shrimp a lot. And now when I found out what it actually, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But I did it for a long time until the same thing. Like I said, I felt like it was more plastic than fish. And I didn't want to get mercury poisoning as well. But also I felt guilty for the living part as well.
That's true. So let's shift gears. You have achieved, I love talking to you. We could probably chat for hours, but you have achieved great success in your career. How do you now balance the creativity with the actual business management and kind of the practical aspects of running it all?
It's just, I don't turn it off. It is my passion. It's like there's no such thing as 9 to 5 or 10 to. It's just I'm always in the mode, and some people think that it works for me. It's not for everybody, but some people are like, oh my gosh, you're always in. I'm like, I can't turn it off. It doesn't. Like, even when I see hair, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I would do. I would do this, or their skin, because I do skincare as well. So I just see these things. It's never turned off. And I'm okay with it. It's more people around me are like, don't you? I'm like, no, because it doesn't train me. It fuels me.
Right, exactly.
Because it's not work for me. It's a passion. And that's my thing, is the passion is there. So it's always, and it's consistent. Like, again, even I go to movies and I'm watching a movie and I'm like, I'm analyzing the hair or the skin or this. It's just part of what I do, but it's not a weight on me. It's more fuel for the longevity, because I always say if I lose the passion, then I'm in trouble, because I can't fake the passion. The passion is what keeps me moving and driving and going.
That's so true.
Whoever you are, whatever it is, follow what your passion is. And the other part I will say is that what I feel bad about is so many families that parents instill on their kids what they should be doing. I'm like, it's their life. This is their journey. It's just so wrong. It's like, you're holding them back. Like, I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be this. I'm like, they want to be a chef. Let them do that. Let them follow. It's their passion. If you do what you want, let them do what they want. But unfortunately, there's a lot of that around. And I hear it all the time. And like, I feel bad for them. And my element is because you see people that aren't happy with what they're doing in their work. And I'm like, close your eyes. If you could do anything you wanted, without thinking about paying the bills or supporting the family, anything you could do with money aside, not think about the money part, what would it be? It's like, oh, I would be a chef, or I would be an artist, or I would be a musician, or I'm like, that's what you need to be doing, because guess what? By doing that and follow passion, that's where your success is going to come from.
I always say that, encourage that the same way, because like I feel like our DNA was like designed and programmed by God for us to become what we were created to do, right? And
it's all unique to the individual person.
Yeah, exactly. And like I always say with parents too, it's like you lived your life and made your own choices. Now it's my turn to live my life and make my own choices, And honestly, I believe like success is truly becoming who God created you to be. Look, you're thriving in the fullness of your natural giftings and talents, and it's beautiful, You didn't sacrifice that. And I think that so many people do, and we mustn't. I'm with you 100%. You've got to like pursue the dream in your heart, because God put it there for a reason. It's connected to your destiny, like your purpose. So important.
You should feel the joy. You should feel the passion. You should be excited about what it is you're doing. And because that's where, doors open, things happen because of that. Again, when you're not happy, why do you think doors are going to open when you're in somewhere you're not happy? Doors aren't going to open for you because you're not happy being there. So when you follow where your passion is, things start unfolding, and you go to, like my journey, I never could have anticipated it being what it is, because I didn't plan it. I listened to my instincts. I followed my instincts. I didn't put them on. Sometimes it's on paper and you do your visioning and whatnot. But my point is I allowed, like, if you told me I was going to end up where I am today, I couldn't have imagined this. I trusted and I followed what felt right. What
like your inner prompting.
Yes.
And I feel like that is God guiding us. And I think the more we listen to that like still small voice of like what we should do and steer away from the things that would pull us off course, like you did, you know, you're like, Vidal Sassoon, like, yeah, it seems like an opportunity, but not right. And you made the right choice, you know, and I think that that's so beautiful because that's when we walk into our destiny and what we were destined to become. There's nothing more beautiful than that.
Yeah, even at my beginning of my career, like everyone likes, you know, on set and session work and all that. And I did some of that at the beginning. I'm like, it wasn't for, I can't just sit around for 12 hours and, okay, come on the set. Then I would go crazy. I need more stimulation, whatnot. And there are people, if it works for you, that's amazing. And that's what your calling is. So yeah, follow what yours is. I remember doing that and just thinking, I can't imagine doing this 12 and 15-hour days until they need you. Okay, come on set. Then I'm like, that wasn't for me. And there's people that thrive and love that. So it's, follow, listen to your inner guidance, follow your passion. If you don't know what it is, then meditate and figure out what it is.
Right, absolutely. You know, the Lord always tells me when I'm having any type of dilemma, He always goes, go within, you'll find the answer within. You know, and that's when I take time
when you're still, right? When you're
so true. Yes,
still.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I love it. So how do you stay ahead of trends that are in the beauty industry? Because they seem to be ever changing. But obviously I believe you're a trendsetter, but how do you stay ahead of them?
The ironic part and the funny part is hello? Are you
I'm here. Yes.
Oh, shoot. Something happened. Wait, what's happening?
I can hear you perfectly, though, and I can see you.
Where did you go? Hold on. Ding, ding, ding. It's Zoom, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Someone tried to chime in. How do I do it? I've never, even with the design of my salon, I don't follow them. I stay in my own yard. What are they doing? What's that one doing?
Right.
It's something that's internal, and I've always been that way. Like when I create my salon, the look of it, I don't want to be influenced by anything outside. With the colors that I do, with again the color trends, I'm like, I follow what feels right for me in the moment. I've never been someone who follows, like, I know it's out there, and I do write-ups. People ask me about write-ups. What's the color trend? I'm like, here's what I say it is. Yeah. I don't know what everyone else is going to say it is, but here's what I see. Because I'm not a follower, and that's what keeps me moving forward in the direction by not being a follower. The other part is a lot of things that I do develop are from my clients asking or looking for something. I'm like, oh, let me design that. Other parts, like I do have my self-tanner, and I developed that because I got tired of always smelling like self-tanner because it was always orangey, streaky. I always smelled like self-tanner. I thought, why am I settling for someone else's? Why don't I create my own? So a lot of mine are derived from the frustrations in products that I use that, oh my gosh, I like this, but I don't like A, B, C, or D, or I wish it didn't do this, or I wish it did do that. So a lot of it comes from that 100%. And then the other part is, like I said, clients. Like when I developed my mousse, this is now 15 years ago, the QVC customer wanted me to do mousse. I'm like, oh no, I know that 90s mousse and crispy and crunchy and nasty. And they asked so much that I thought, okay, if they want mousse, I've got to reinvent mousse, and that's what it is. Like shampoo is here, cleansing conditioner is here. As different as they are as different as traditional mousse from my mousse, which is soft and light and airy and bouncy and shiny. So yeah, that's the element. Is I've never been someone that followed trends.
Well, absolutely not. I mean, you're a beauty industry leader, so it makes sense that you wouldn't. You're a trendsetter, and you have such a unique brand, and I love that about you because it's so signature to who you are, And so what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who, are just starting out, but they have a dream in their heart like you did to venture into the beauty industry and kind of start their own brands?
The number one is 100%, as we said, is follow your heart, follow your passion, follow your vision. If you know how many no's, I wouldn't have cleansing conditioner. I wouldn't have the brush dryer. I wouldn't have that. I got so many no's. You can't do that, can't do that. I'm like, okay, If we can't do that, then we have to try this. If we can't do that, I will find, because I get no's all the time, and that's my, don't stop at a no. You are going to get no's every day. But if that's a no, what about this? If that's a no, what about this? You've got to find your way to the yes. And I've been that person forever, because I wouldn't be, I couldn't be, I wouldn't have what I have, anything, happiness, career, all of this, if I stopped at the no's. You will get no's, and the reason you get no's is because if you get a yes and it hasn't been done, it means the person you're asking to do something has to put work into something that's never been done, because they now have to figure it out. So it's much easier to tell me, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, okay, if not that, what about this? If not that, what about this? Okay, we tried that. I agree, that didn't work, but let's try this. So it's you're going to get hit with no's all the time. Don't ever, and I know this, I can't ever let my passion, because if my passion's gone, it's authentic. I can't fake it. It's real. It's so real. And you can't fake passion. So keep your passion. Don't listen to outside voices. Unfortunately, people around you are going to try and crush it. It happens. People try and crush their dreams. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Because people don't really, they feel if you're succeeding, that means they're failing. Or if you're doing better than, and there's no comparison. Everyone is their own unique DNA, and we're all here for our own. Like, your vision is yours. I can't take no one can steal someone else's vision.
Like I say, God broke the mold when he made each of us. You know, like you
DNA is completely different.
Yeah, you are so
even
unique.
Twins. Even twins.
Like
twins.
they're exactly. The giftings and talents. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can have similarities, but they still vary because there's no two people alike. So, mine is follow your passion, follow your vision, follow your dream. Don't take, and when I say don't take no for an answer, I'm not being disrespectful. I mean, you're going to hit no's, but you got to find your yes. Don't give up on a no, because that will happen regularly.
It's true. I've had my fair share of no's, and they can be painful, but I think I've learned that every no is one step closer to the yes. So you've got to just keep going. Now,
aren't your yeses after you had those no's that are, because I've had many painful no's, but isn't that yes like, oh, okay, now I get it, because this is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Like they say, when God closes the door, he opens the window. And it's so true. We have to trust that there is a divine orchestration to our destiny, and there's a plan, a greater plan at work. And so when we trust that. Sometimes it takes a very long
time. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but sometimes it's a very long time.
Very long time. Yep.
Mine was long.
Great things take time. Great things take time, though.
Mine was a long journey.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built.
Yep.
So where can our listeners get your products? How can they, get in touch, work with you?
ChazDean.com is my website, and we have offers happening all the time. I'm also on QVC and QVC.com. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving for QVC. We do gallons. Yeah. We've been doing gallons for 18 years, so gallons once a year. So literally gallons of WEN. So QVC or QVC.com. I'm in my 20th year. I've been
Congratulations.
there since 2005.
Yeah.
And then social media. I'm always on. I go live on TikTok because with music in the background, I usually always have music on, so it doesn't shut me down. So live, where you can interact with me, TikTok, and then Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. I'm posting in stories and all that. But I also answer DMs and if they have questions and so forth. You
are amazing. It's been such an honor to spend some time with you today. Thank you for coming on. And, I look forward to catching up with you, down the road and having you back on in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
God bless you. We'll see you soon, Chaz. Take care. Bye.